What's good, Kinganda? It's your boy Oshay Duke Jackson, and I'm here with
Joanita.
This is actually our first time ever being on video together. We've done it before when I'm outside of the video, but I thought I was gonna grace her presence with my, my handsome self. And today we're talking about a very interesting topic because Joanita, you got an Instagram message yesterday, right?
Yeah, yes I did. I got an Instagram message from someone who watched me from Kenganda, and he was telling me that he has faced racism because he's in the United States, and he has faced racism from African Americans.
Can you actually have the phone with you?
I do have the phone.
All right, we're gonna actually put the Instagram comment on the screen.
Yeah.
So we could talk about this a little bit. Go ahead and read it out. She getting the phone and everything. Y'all know how they be, Y'all know how it is.
Sorry. So we can't say his name. He messaged me, he's like, hey Joanita, I had something I wanted to discuss on your channel for the sake of clarity. I don't know if you're open to suggestions. I said, yes, please do share. And he said, talk about racism between African Americans and Africans. He said, colorism. I'm an African living in the US and I experienced this for a while. Not with whites, but mostly blacks. That means African Americans. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it.
All right, and it's a controversial topic, so I think I have a little bit of a understanding about this. Let me ask you this, Joanita. I know you've never been to the United States, but do you know
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
Waiting for somebody to get you that green card.
Not yet. Not yet.
So do you know any Ugandans that are in the States right now?
Yeah, I know Ugandans are in the States. I also have some friends of mine who finished uni and then went to the States.
Okay, what is their experience?
Well, usually they say, because when you're an African and you go abroad, you have that accent. Like some people who say they have an issue with the way I talk because my accent, they don't understand it. So when you go abroad and you have that African accent, and you know what's so bad? It's like Africa to them is a country. Like most people don't know that Africa has countries within. It's just like, oh, it's Africa. So you have the African accent and they find it a bit, hard to adjust to the ways that with their fellow blacks. Should I say blacks or with their fellow African Americans?
Are there any other issues that they have with the African American community when they go abroad?
Yeah, I think the media plays a big part in this because most times when people hear of Africa, they just think, oh, the lions running around, zebras are just there. Maybe you're chilling in a national park, you're living in a mud hut. Like most people don't associate Africa with, fancy buildings, fancy places and whatnot. Usually Africa is associated with like poverty, unclean water, starving kids, wars. Like that's what the media portrays abroad, and that's what most people take on. So if you're not exposed, if you've not done your research, or if you've not taken the time to know about Africa, you can actually think, oh, Africa is just that. So when they get there, so I think some of them ask them, oh, how did you actually come to the United States? Like, how are you able to just fly? It's like we don't have planes or something. Yes.
So when I get this message, because I had some friends that were from like Trinidad.
Yeah.
When I was at Howard University, because Howard University used to give, still most historically black colleges give some scholarships to blacks outside of the country, Trinidad, Jamaica, Nigeria, things like that. And then you have obviously people who are elite that can afford it. Like the guy that used to live downstairs.
Yeah.
He's like a big CEO for Bolt, but his family had enough money to send him to the University of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that when you are African, I think, and you come to the United States, there also is a negative stereotype of African Americans portrayed to Africans.
True, that's so true. And we all, it's all the media because growing up, it's all you see is just rap videos. And what are they doing in the rap videos? They're just having their guns out, they're shooting at someone, they want to kill someone, sagging pants. So growing up, that's the image we had of African Americans because all we thought was, okay, they're just from the ghetto, they're gangsters, it's like war out there, they want to fight. They didn't portray this image of the African Americans actually making it in life, they're having a positive impact on society. All they portrayed, all we saw, I'm just saying, as a kid watching TV, all I ever saw on TV was just gangsters, and that's it. No, never in my life, I never thought I would find like an African American who's like making it big, because I grew up just watching the media portray them as a certain type. You get
And I was in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Yeah.
With the Uber driver. He's a good brother. I lost his phone number, but this particular lady was at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the lady said in Swahili, because Tanzania is very big on Swahili.
Swahili, yeah.
She's like, this guy's from America. She's like, well, but he doesn't seem like the rest of the guys that I see on TV.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to her, I'm like, oh no, this guy he's a business guy. He's trying to do some things. He's like, why doesn't he look like the guys on TV?
Yeah.
And so I think that what happens is when you get both of those groups that come to each other, there's negative stereotypes.
True, that's so true.
Of on both ends.
Yeah.
And for us, the way that we would look at Africans is that a lot of black people in America, a lot of African Americans will look at it as this, well, you guys don't contribute. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but a lot of African Americans feel like the African community will want to separate themselves from us, but yet want to replace the African American community as far as they can get the scholarships that African Americans can get. They can, do those things, and they can basically replace us for the civil rights acts that the African Americans fought for, and the Africans don't have any contribution in those fights. But then when they come over, there's an attitude that you African Americans are not this.
Okay.
And then African Americans are saying, well, this is the reason why we're attacking the African community when we see them.
Yeah.
I think that I can see how somebody can have that point, but literally, I gotta be honest. I knew Africans who came to America and they were called African booty scratcher. They were called all kind of mean names just because they were from Africa, right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing about our culture is we talk bad about everybody. As you know, because I talk bad about you and everybody in the crew. But that's just our way of joking.
Yeah.
But Africans don't joke like that, right? It's not a society where you get roasted all the time. I got called African booty scratcher, but I think it is a lot of insensitivity, and that the African community, when they come, the African American community didn't just welcome them.
Yeah.
Some people didn't, and obviously the way the Africans have church and the way the African Americans have church is totally different.
True.
We use the Hammond organ, and the Africans don't use that instrument.
They just
So
use pianos.
we use a whole different singing style and everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the cultures don't understand each other.
Okay.
So they separate.
Yeah.
And then obviously when the Africans start doing better, they start taking shots. Yo, well, look at you, look at y'all now, look at us.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a misunderstanding of one another.
Yeah, before you
go ahead.
proceed, let me just say something out there before we skip that. You say most times African Americans will see Africans as competition. Maybe they'll take their jobs and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand each group. So we have Africans, we have African Americans. Each group had their own struggles. African Americans had racism and slavery, but Africans also had to fight for their independence. They had to fight for so many things. We had to fight colonialism. So both parties had their own struggles. So it makes no sense for someone to say, oh, as Africans, where were you when we were fighting for our rights and whatnot? But where were you when we were also fighting for independence and colonialism? Like, the blame game helps no one. Everyone has suffered in their own situation, and everyone has seen the consequences of everything they had to go through. So I think it's totally unfair for an African American to think there's an African going to take his job or something. I don't advise that it should be taken as competition. It doesn't have to be competition.
Right, I agree.
We can all thrive in the same space because what's meant for you will always be for you no matter what. You can't say someone came and took my opportunity. No, maybe the opportunity wasn't yours to begin with for it to be taken. So I don't understand where that thing comes in, where they say, oh, Africans are going to come and take the opportunity.
Well, I'll also say this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there are a lot of immigrants taking opportunities from African Americans. Not just, I think it's wrong to just focus on, well, the African immigrants are doing this, but then the Hispanics and the Hungarians. You know, another thing too in America is that the Africans that come to America are the most brightest and talented.
True.
So, you know, and that's a huge advantage. Like a lot of the people that I went to school with, if you look at what Africans are majoring in comparison to African Americans, engineering, medicine, pharmacy. So the Africans who make it to the United States are the top ones. They're very bright, very motivated. Like there's a guy I was talking to, he went to McCary Medical School.
Yeah.
And now he's a doctor in Oregon. So the top people that come from Uganda or Kenya, usually they're very, very bright.
Yeah.
So when they come to America, even if they don't have money right now, they're very smart and they're very intelligent and they're hardworking. And a lot of African Americans, I think, really are, some of them are intimidated by some of these people. It would just be like the top percentage of our people come here, and it would be the same thing. I think the ultimate thing is this. In the eyes of the people, that we are fighting about these little things.
Yeah.
To the white man, we still, and I hate to say the word, we still niggas. And I think that when the African community and the African American community are complaining about racism, the same group of people are destabilizing both places.
Yeah.
Whites have destabilized Black America. The same reason why Africans have to come and leave Africa to go to America is because of the same whites. We all know that the United States helped destabilize Uganda at a point. Yeah. They helped destabilize the Congo. They helped get Patrice Lumumba out. United States is just as responsible for destabilizing Africa as they have been Black America. And so the Africans and the Black Americans are arguing over nothing when the white people still are destabilizing both places every day.
Yeah.
Black folks getting killed in the street. You have, in the Congo, resources being stolen. True. You have the Nigeria.
We also have police brutality this side. Yeah. Kenya, Uganda, everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and I feel that it's we're arguing about things that are, and I used to be involved in those arguments too, against the African community. I even have a show with Dr. Moonby when I was telling her, listen, the African community hasn't contributed enough to the African American struggle. Yeah. But then I had thought about this, and I looked at it and I said, well, the reason why African Americans have a struggle is not Africans' fault.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
And the reason why Africans have a struggle is not our fault.
Yeah.
It's the white people's fault.
Yeah.
And so the thing about it is with this channel, what we want to do is instead of, because that's what the white folks want us to do. They want us to fight. Fight against each other. And then they're sitting there as the savior when they're the ones that cause the problem.
True.
We shouldn't be mad at one another. We are the, same situations.
Yeah, we have an African proverb that says, when two brothers fight to death, a stranger will inherit the land. So us butting heads and going against each other, at the end we'll just be divided, and then the white person will just swoop in and take everything, and you will just be looking at each other. And then what next?
Yeah, and I want to say personally, I've grown since I've been coming to Africa. I think before I used to have a very harsh commentary on, because you meet Africans that will talk down on that African American community and vice versa. Yeah. But then until I came to Africa and I saw the opportunities that we have as Americans and the opportunities that Africans do not have, I said, I can understand why they want to get out of here. African is just trying to come for better opportunities. If you leave in Uganda or you leave in Kenya, you're coming for better opportunities. You don't care about a person's African American. You're just trying to feed your family. You're trying to make it for yourself. Yeah. You just want a better, that's all you're doing because your opportunities have been robbed from you by corruption and leadership. Yeah. So after seeing how hard it is here, I understand it now. I didn't understand it before. A lot of African Americans who have these vantage points, they've never been to Africa. So until they have come here and seen, they won't understand. They won't understand. It'd be very difficult to see why they come. Yeah. So guys, I don't know. That's what you have. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to tell. I think the African Americans that are watching this that you just need to come and visit the motherland. You all talk of Africa. This is my motherland, but really look deep within yourself. come and visit the continent, visit that. There's so many countries you can visit. There's so many things you can do. There's so many fancy places if you want to be fancy. There is a lot that you can see in Africa. So you should visit before you jump to conclusions and think we sleep in mud huts or chill with lions and anything else. Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody who watches this channel believes that, but we do have brothers and sisters that believe that. I want to just say this, having an attitude that is pejorative towards the African community, and trust me, I've been one person that y'all know, so I have some really good classic videos about how I felt about, African immigrants in the United States that were entitled. And you're still gonna have people that like that just don't understand on both sides. Any African person that feels like they're doing really well in America as an individual, but your country is doing very bad, and you have the entitled opinion against any other community, you should check yourself. That's the same thing about me. If I'm doing very, very well, but the African American community is not rising, if I'm not pulling my brothers and sisters up, that's wrong. We need to look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that the global black community is in trouble. And in the global black community loses, everybody loses. You lose opportunities you don't see. And I think the African American versus the African argument is something that's very minute. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, the white people at the top don't care about the African Americans, and they don't care about the African. We know that. So instead of fighting for the people that don't care about us, we should be trying to unite and try to talk out our differences, because I know that they won't change their mind. The whites will never change their mind about us. But I know that I can possibly get you to change your mind about me, and you can get me to understand you more. So that's the whole point of the Kengana channel, is bringing black people together all across the world. So if we have differences, let's explain them, let's respect each other, and let's move forward so we can start to do what? Working together. Guys, that's enough time for me today. Joanita talked me to death. Anything you want to tell them?
No, you should please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media pages. That is Kenganda Nation on Facebook and Kenganda on Instagram. Yeah.
Keep it real. Kengana forever. I'm out.